Hey, could you stop talking in the middle of my open here? You've been talking for the whole time. They didn't have a permit, but a sea of bikers today rolled into Washington, D.C. to pay tribute to the victims of 9/11 and also to counter the so-called Million Muslim March planned there today. The Muslim March actually shaped up to be more like a few hundred. The 2 million bikers rally, however, had a huge turnout, despite the fact that organizers weren't granted permission for the ride. Here was National Coordinator Belinda B. on Fox News earlier.
We have a constitutional right to ride those streets. We pay taxes. We are the tax-paying Americans. They can't deny us riding the streets. Had they issued the permit and had we had the police escort and assistance, we would have been done with this ride in less than, I'd say, 3 hours. Now it's going to take us 6-7 hours.
Well, I suppose, but the only thing I will say about, in defense of the Park Service, they didn't know how many Muslims were going to show up. What they were trying to do is avoid a great clash between these two crowds. And so you can't really blame them. I mean, the Muslim March was in there early, and they got their permit. And if I were the Park Service, I'd be worried about that, too. What do you think, Garrett?
I think they could have made an exception on this date, honor 9/11, the people who we lost on 9/11. I don't think it's a bad thing.
What do you think would happen with about 100 Muslims walking past these bikers? You think they'd be able to make it down the block?
Probably. Probably.
But that's not what the basis of the permit should or shouldn't be. Whether or not whether there's going to be a clash. You have a right to demonstrate. You have a right to show up. They have a right. They just said it was going to be it was going to put the city of D.C. out too much. Right, because it would take a couple hours to get the bikes through the city. I say on this day, don't do it on a regular Saturday or Sunday, but on this day, maybe you make an exception.
Here's two issues here. I think it's great that they're doing this, that the bikers are doing this. However, you're not going to get a permit for a nonstop ride in a rush hour in a large city because you're going to have so many people that are going to be angry at you. If that happened in New York, if you had, let's say, count to 2,000 and sit at a stop sign, you're going to have a lot of people ticked off at you just for 2,000 bikers, and they're calling it the 2 million. Are you 2 million? If you're 2 million, you're not getting a permit because that'll take 3 months to get through 6th Avenue. The other thing, too, is I admire what they're doing, but, you know, they should worry more about or think more about the day and less about getting press because I'm tired of getting 150 tweets telling me you better cover this.
Or else.
You know, we were planning on covering it to begin with, but it comes off as though you're more interested in making a point than observing a solemn occasion. And that's probably just a small minority of people, but you can stop now.
Yes. Oh, boy, you're going to get more
There you're true. What do you think?
Yeah. Look, I admire their heart, their patriotism. I think it was in the right place, and that's what I love about this country, when you have that just, like, spontaneous showing of faith and patriotic beliefs. I'm all for it. I got nothing but love for the bikers.
You do?
Really? Nothing but love.
I bet you they have nothing but love for you, too.
We shall
Well,
see.
I think there's something we should talk about. One thing. One more!